Alright, so welcome to test run version 2 of the Fringe Second Life exploration. This is Greg. I was with you last time, and Trillian visioned my avatar in Second Life. Second Life as of October 2014. This will be a very controlled recording as opposed to previous recordings, and that the last one was just kind of happened. It was spontaneous and serendipitous, and it was fun for me at first, but then I realized that without any constraint, it became quite overwhelming. And eventually I had no way to control what I was going after, and I had no way of controlling what I wanted to cover and then knowing what had been covered, because I didn't do a very good job of keeping track of myself. And I think there was a very valuable lesson in doing that, in not having control, because I simply illustrated how big, how massive Second Life is. And with this series, at least as a way for me to personally reflect on the engagement of what is arguably the most popular virtual world depending on the definition of virtual world, but for the most part, the most popular virtual world in the Western world. I can't speak to the many new iterations of virtual worlds being released for PC as well as mobile devices throughout the world, though I know of several that are existing in Asian cultures that are quite big. And I think that it's safe to say that the parallels between Second Life and chat rooms that have existed since the early days of the popular internet, and even before that, to the days of the niche internet, the early internet, make virtual world a touchy topic and definition. For our layman's, or my personal satisfaction, virtual world in this instance will include a visual component beyond simply text. A world that is filled with visual interaction. And for us in Second Life, that includes having an avatar as opposed to not only having merely a screen name, and also being able to move that avatar, I think, is an important quality, as I am indicating as I go into this this log here, and being able to explore a place, a virtual place, a digital place that has elements of the tangible, elements of the physical within it. Though, of course, at this point in our existence, the screen separates us from these beautiful spaces that we have access to. So, with that being said, all of those caveats mentioned, let me also preface this by saying I am not affiliated with any organization or company that exists in Second Life except for my own entity, Trillian Vision. I have made some connections thus far, and I am not afraid to admit who they are. If I can open up my conversations, I don't even really know all of the ins and outs of the conversation, the platform at this point. But there should be a way for me to open up friends, conversation log. Oh god, now it's not speaking. Let's not have that happening. Can you turn that off? Good. And there should be, okay, so all of these characters here, if you zoom in on your home video, if you're really that concerned, these are all the people that I have communicated with. And one of them, who at this point in time will be left undefined or unspecified, rather, on this list, I know in real life, in physical, tangible Earth life. Other than that, I have been to many places, and I will show some of the places that I believe the viewer for the first trial run had access to seeing all of these different places. Not destinations, though some of them are destinations, but the landmark. So the problem that I've noticed with Second Life, and this is a tangent, is that when you're trying to simply go to your list of landmarks, you have to landmark the place you're currently in, which is an automatic thing, and in sometimes that's useful, but in other times it's not. Anyway, so these are all of the different places that I have landmarked. I will slowly go through them so folks can see. They have different themes, and they have been mostly used for psychological and sociological investigations on my own time. Obviously, there is adult content and all ages content in all of these, in this entire list. And like I said, I'm not affiliated professionally or through any association with any of these spaces, these sims. So with that out of the way, I think that's the only bit of information I needed to really chat about in terms of the meta, in terms of really getting into the thick of things here. I should mention that one other thing about technology, I am not using a fantastically beautiful machine like most screen capture type of people on YouTube and the internet are using. Mine's a little bit dated, and I have settings relatively cranked for my machine, which means that sometimes it gets a little bit jagged and laggy. There is, in Second Life, a lot to be seen, and a lot of people that are creating the universe, the virtual world, and all of the sims within it are not necessarily designers or computer programmers, and so you might have textures that load slowly. In an ideal world, such as Korea or other countries that have fast internet, all of these things would be able to load super fast. But I am on a personal connection in Seattle, Washington, and it is not the fastest connection in the world. So please forgive any slowness, and I'm sure for some of you that you do come across this, including myself, it'll be comical. See, this is an example of textures loading slowly. It'll be comical to see the slow loading, and for some, it'll be equally comical because your own computer is probably even slower than this. So, what are we going to do on today's romp through the fringe of Second Life? We're not going to define a vision of this project as of yet. It is still something that is simmering in my head, and I believe that we're in brainstorm stages. We can't really create any hypotheses because we're in a very exploratory mode. We want to engage the space in as raw a state as possible. I did mention, however, in previous chats, that I wanted to explore the spaces that are not necessarily seen, the spaces that are not necessarily engaged with, the spaces that are abandoned, the spaces that have been forgotten or go unused, as well as the spaces that are private and what it means to be private and public in a space that is ultimately, for most people, an open space. Even if there are elements of privacy and ownership that exist here, a lot of it is open. So those are some general themes I want to explore. I also want to explore more sociological themes, how people interact as a group and as a culture or subculture in Second Life, which I think is what the virtual world is known for the most. And if we go over to this green clump of people, it might very well be a dance floor or an example of one of those subcultures, if my computer will start behaving itself, which it really is not for some reason. I also think right now that Second Life reintroduced a new viewer, and or reintroduced their viewer, and that might not be so good for Mr. Greg's computer. However, that being said, we're just going to deal with it. This sim in particular is very, very laggy and very, very texture heavy. heavy, as opposed to some other spaces I've been in. It looks like we have a lot of strange characters and strange avatars here, which I think is actually really interesting. What did we stumble upon? We stumbled upon a bunch of drums. It almost looks like a conga circle. People are talking about selling insurance. It also looks like people are generally very small. I really hesitate to interact with these people because they're already engaged in a conversation that is about a very, very specific topic, and my introduction, which might already have happened because I'm just here, may have ruined that conversation. Though something else that's interesting about virtual worlds and gaming and interaction with computers in general is how individuals behave in relationship to their device and how that affects their engagement in the virtual world. For example, someone might be logged in, might be hanging out, but might be, as we used to call it back in the day, I don't know if it's still a used term, AFK, or away from keyboard. Very common for a person who is on their phone or on their computer to step away from their machine. How often do you step away from your machine? Ask yourself that. The next time that you step away from your machine, pay attention that you're stepping away. Now, that might be such a common behavior and a common activity while using a device that's connected to the digital, or a digital device connected to the online or the virtual. However, once we individuals have stake or relationship and ownership of avatars and ownership of engagement or community or social activity within a virtual world, that very minute activity in the physical might be significantly more powerful in the virtual world. To be away when there's someone else who is present or expecting you to be present and does not necessarily know you are away is one thing. Another thing is to be away and to allow someone to understand that you're away, whether it's through an identifier that says I am away and I will be back soon, or you are in a certain animation. For example, you are away but you went to a bed and chose to engage with an animation on the bed that shows you sleeping. That would indicate that you are not present to talk. However, if someone comes up and expects another avatar, whether they have been defined on the legend, is there someone following me? Is there someone? Oh, flying is prohibited. Okay. Why wouldn't they just deactivate it? Stop flying. I was just informed that flying is prohibited in this sim. From Ekrina. Sorry. Why did you not ban the flying function from the sim if it's prohibited? Pretty common question, but I'm just really genuinely curious. Anyway, so as we deal with that chat, as I was saying, people expect you to be able to be interrupted. People expect you to fulfill a service if they see you on a map in a legend, if they see your avatar from a distance and they invest time engaging with that, in the same way that we would do so in physical reality too, I think. So all of these are very interesting concepts. What's even more interesting is the implications and repercussions when we're in a virtual world that is essentially limitless and yet still feels very empty. So flying was turned on, but it wasn't supposed to be. So just being a good Samaritan, kind of user testing, case testing this. I am the case. And now I'm going to go leave that person. So now I will go explore this. This is Avalon, the Heart of Avalon, a medieval fantasy role-playing sim. It's where I left off when I was exploring last time, and I'm only going to spend maybe half of the time exploring it on this 30-minute long piece, of which I only have about a minute left, and then I think it would be a wise decision to spend the other half of the time exploring somewhere new, and then having some overlap. And by doing fleeting adventures, fleeting explorations, short-term ones, it would allow for some pretty accessible material that can be more easily digested, and then returned to after a period of even more digesting between now and the next time I come on. Okay, before I go and choose, I realize I'm already at the halfway mark for this video. Whoa, that's really creepy. That might be one of the creepiest things that I have seen in Second Life, and I think it deserves a screenshot. I can take screenshots in the game here. That's a pretty accurate representation of this current situation. Hopefully the dialog box is not going to crash the video. Nope. Great. So, that instance where Ekrina approached me about being present and about flying, engaging with a sim or a world the way I'm quote-unquote supposed to, that's come up in Second Life, in my experience in Second Life, numerous times, whether it's a way I'm behaving versus a way I'm appearing, my appearance of my avatar. All of these elements and qualities of existing actually matter and can matter. You can get yourself banned and get your experience turned down and have a really bad experience if you make an unaware move, a move where you're not really fully aware of what you're doing and how you're existing. I'm actually surprised that my non-medieval features, including my anime spiky hair and my big yellow sneakers and my slim tight-fitted jeans, yellow sweater body, did not get me kicked out on principle alone. I'm not exactly representing the heart of King Arthur and his band of evil vanquishers and his or like a Merlin type of character here. And I don't think I would consider myself that fairy either. So, anyway, not much time left. I think the next portion, and maybe in the future I will think this through just a little bit more in advance before I actually load the game up, that way to save time. But this is all about justification and exploration, so it's okay. What I want to do is I want to simply be immersed and surprised, in the same way Second Life has immersed and surprised many people, in many situations, of many backgrounds. One of my favorite things about Second Life, and how it transcends a lot of gaming experience, is how wide the experiences and the encounters with people and their built things, their built digital life is. And as you can see, this place is, it's phenomenally big. I can't even begin to describe how exponential the opportunities to see things are here. I don't think one could literally explore it all, even if they wanted to, or even have a computer explore it all. And then everything's changing, just like in real life. So it makes it really interesting to have this outlet. I'm kind of attracted to this green square, and I realize that time is running low, so let's see what this is. It just says Kidd. Ugh. That could be good or bad, but the only way to find out is to actually go in. Okay, so what do we have here? It's actually a relatively small island. I should note that there is a boundary here, but there only, which is a bit bizarre. Is flying. Flying is not enabled here either, which is going to make exploring this area a bit more difficult, but at least we can run. I should make note of the very beautiful sunset that is actually, it's actually happening. I think that'll be a good second one for now, in Kidd. There seems to be some strange stuff over here, though. So we have rent boxes, which is an interesting element of the Second Life experience, the Second Life existence, and the way it works for people that don't know. As far as I'm in the know, you have a free account that allows you to create an avatar and enter the world that is Second Life. You do not have free land, however, and land is where the big bucks get made. And just like in reality, in real life, you have land that gets bought in significant sizes for not that bad of a price. Depends on the size of the land, of course. And then you have to deal with divisions. And so some people will actually create communities and create, oh dear God, are we going to be able to leave this? I don't know. This is just bad news. This is a bad experience. I think we can get out of here now. Oh, it looks like you can actually kind of swim. Yeah, okay. We haven't gotten thrown into oblivion. But there's something strange over here. Strange tree. So this is a good lesson in the divisions, the subdivisions and the divisions of land that gets bought by people who are wealthy, and then they can actually create communities. If I was a designer, and where did my sparkles go? It looks like it turned into night, or at least dusk. If I was a designer, I could design a really amazing place, have my yacht and my amazing vehicles and my amazing house or mansion and amazing animations and all of these great objects, and have them available to myself on my own property. But hey, what if I have some extra cash? I can then sell my spaces, the peripheral spaces, at a good cost, and people will pay because they will want to be part of something more elite. So basic real estate, I guess. It exists here too. In the case of Kidd, Kidd, which is a very, very vacant space, we have some geographical features that are not very appealing. Some rolling hills, some very Dr. Seussian spaces, a lot of uncomfortable water that really sucks to escape once you're inside of it. And can we stop tracking? Thank you. And other than that, it's just in the middle of nowhere, as many things are. That's not necessarily a good quality. And then we have a little bit of flora, which is also very hideous and nondescript. So not a lot going for it. All that said, it is a space that is empty, and it is a space that is completely accessible and completely available. And yet no one is here. I'm not sure if I want to come back here during the next episode, because I have a feeling, and maybe it's an experiment, maybe we can take a step back here. It's just more really, really ugly trees that aren't very fully fleshed out. It would be interesting to see if anything has changed the next time we get on. So actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to landmark this place, and then basically hope that the mist Kidd Island. Medieval theme sim rentals. There's really no information about it. More? I don't know if I want that. Light commercial, homes, theme. If have special request, amount of prims or scripts, drop land manager and note card and I am them. Get back ASAP. Forgive us if it takes a few days, but real life work is first. Thank you. There you go. A little bit more insight into how this particular real estate, which is just not really very impressive, is working out. So we'll try to come back here if I remember correctly, just to check it out. And if not, next time because I forget, perhaps in a future time when I'm reviewing landmarks. So why not? Let's take a look at this. Tokyo City. There's not enough time left in this recording to explore Tokyo City if it's as epic as I think it's going to be. But I think maybe this is a good example of entering a spectacle, not knowing what the spectacle is, entering it and being completely overwhelmed. Let's try it out. Oh god. Textures. I see a robot. I don't see any humans in the world. I just see a lot of mesmerizing little things. Objects that are moving. They have animations. I am utterly perplexed, as I thought I would be. Remove the tracker. Drop me a note card. It looks like someone tried to create a makeshift Halloween theme to what is a very ominous looking place, but at the same time it looks like it's an upscale. Ooh, that is so creepy. An upscale store. Japanese in nature. There's nobody around. Zooming out on the mini map, there's nobody here. I really want to know a little bit more about where we are and what this place is. I want to know also about why it was designed to look so empty. And here goes my. Oh god, where am I? Why is it doing that? Where did it send me? It didn't kick me out or anything, did it? Oh. Well, this is a very bad way to end the episode. I'm really hoping that we can gain some kind of... So that looks like where we were, actually. I don't know how we got way over there, though, unless it kicked us out. But that would be very bad for a store. It looks like there's another store here. It's a Japanese store. I don't even want to go explore there. I really want to go back, since it's Halloween time, to our Halloween landscape, which is right here. How did it kick us all the way out there, though, is what I want to know. As far as I know, Japan, Second Life doesn't have any teleporters or jump pads. But that was where I wanted to go. I wanted to see what was over here in this very, very creepy building. That is not so creepy when you step outside of that shaded space. Appearances may be deceiving. And we have some kind of almost bonsai, but definitely Zen-like elements. This entire place reeks of Zen. Oh, cocoa on the go. I think I'll have a large caramel latte, please. Is it actually giving me? Pumpkin spice latte? Wow. I don't even have to go out to get my favorite autumn foods. This is a great, I suppose, a great example of what... Wow, are those the donuts that I just ordered? No, I think I have them in my inventory. A great example of exactly how strangely people are able to update their there we go, how they're able to update their where that did it did it update their sims without actually appearing to be even virtually present. Before we zone out of here, let's take a look at our latte. There it is. This latte will last forever. Trillion Vision really appreciates it. Whoa. It's not exactly a Sen's G-string. Not exactly the most ideal place for a lingerie shop, but I suppose they have to sell lingerie somewhere. And then, is there any animation for my latte? Do I drink my latte? It doesn't look like they have me drink the latte. So anyway, we're about at the end of this recording. I'm going to go a little bit over, but next time on Second Life Fringe, we will explore, I suppose we have to explore the free lingerie at the lingerie shop. I hope that that's not a limited time offer. Trillion Vision obviously wants to get its hands on some of that lingerie. We will check out that tree, which looks cool. We will hope there are more people here. We'll take a look at the more Japanese side of the Japanese store over there and definitely explore those oddly... Oh, there's another one. Those oddly... oh, what? Lucky letter is J? I don't even know what's going on. We'll explore that ominous-looking store facility thing with the creepy killer robot toy things hopping around outside of it. And maybe see if this pumpkin latte lasts forever. Until then, this has been Greg, and this is Fringe.